Hello Professor, this is David Press. This is my recording for Milestone 6 for CST236. We're making a sales report here today, so I'm just showing you the updates that I have. You can see I have few products in my cart, which is right here. So we're in the cart. We've got a bunch of stuff in there. We're going to click order. I'm going to go through this whole process here. Products were ordered successfully. So then let me go to my account page, which I changed so that it displays all the credit cards and all of the addresses. I'm sorry, this is addresses, this is credit cards over here. But then we're going to go down to the Get Sales Report section, and we're going to go from the 21st all the way to, we'll go to tomorrow, just so that we make sure we get everything in there. That should be everything that's in my database right now. And we'll click Submit, and you can see we've got an order ID, we've got every product and its description and its quantity. But if we scroll all the way down, you can see that we have the orange, the banana, and the apple that we ordered earlier. Quantities are all the same, 440 and 14. You can see what credit card I used, and you can see what user I'm logged in as far as username and name goes. So, and you can even see right here, this one is actually logged in as a different user, so you've got reg user instead of the admin user. So, even though the names are actually the same, but that's just because I put them in the database the same way. I'm a creature of habit, as you can tell. So, that's the updates that we have. Oh, and if I go here and I go, instead of Get Sales Report, I go Get Sales Report JSON, you can see we've got the same information all printed out in some roughly formatted JSON format there. And you can see order ID 41, you've got 3 lines, you've got orange, banana, apple, and if we find where the quantity is, product quantity is 4, product quantity 40, and product quantity 14. So, and you can see that all of the credit cards are the same, and the username is all the same as well. It's all under admin. So that's what we've done. So here's where we're going to start here. First, just some changes to the nav bar. We changed so that there's a user details page. I also changed so that the cart was a picture of a cart instead of the My Cart page. As far as the admin nav bar goes, it was just getting really full. I didn't do that in the regular nav bar, but if we go into the user details, which is that page I was showing you before, you can see we've got a bunch of styling and stuff, but we've got 4 basic sections. We've got the row here, and then there's column 1 to set spacing, and then an address and credit card divs, and then we've got close that row and start a new one, and you've got this row right here, just one space to set spacing again, and then here's the sales report div that we're going to be looking at. So we've got these things just to display our success and failure messages, and then down here is the actual form. It's just a really simple form. There's just 2 dates, 2 input type dates, and that ID is not correct, but it operates under name, so it's not a big deal. So we've got it under get here, which is why you were seeing it in the URL. And then if we continue on, so you can see this submits to Get Sales Report. So we're going to go up to Get Sales Report here, and you've got all of these instantiated classes here. These are all for use in Show Sales Report, which is just an include file, but instead of putting it all in the include file, I decided to put it all in here. We've got the requires and the instantiations all in this class. Right here, we're actually protecting the page so that only admin can access it. So you can see that if you don't have, if session admin is not true, which is a session admin is a Boolean variable that I used on the login logout page to set up the admin status. So if you log in and your database has your admin row in your database, or columns rather, in your database is saved as true, then your session admin variable will get set. If it's not set, you don't have permission. So you're going to get sent back to login register with that message displaying up there. And then all the instantiations, like I said, then right here we're actually creating a new date time variable and using those get variables in there. We're setting the time on those. I just set the time for the begin date to the end of the day on the begin date, and the end date to the end of the day on the end date. So you can see that it's like 00 as far as military time goes, so this would be like setting it to 00, oops, to, make sure I can see, so we go 0000, and this is the same as setting it to 23:59, so that's the times that we're setting it at. And then we're just checking to make sure that the begin date is actually after the end, or I'm sorry, before the end date. So if your begin date is greater than your end date, if you look at a timeline, if your begin date comes after your end date, you're not doing it right. So you need to get sent back to that user details page with this failure message showing. Then we're just querying the database, get orders inside begin, end, and based on that username. We can actually look at that here, which I didn't pull up before I started recording this. We're going to go to, it's actually in order data, and it should be all the way at the bottom. Really simple. We're just querying the orders table to find where the date ordered is between that day and that day. And we really don't need this user ID. I had that in there for a test initially. I was going to make sure that it was that user's ID, but I wanted this to be more for admin so they could see everything that was purchased. So you can see that that does that. As far as it doesn't worry about the user ID, I just left it in there because it was simpler like that. And then business is just a wrapper function for that passes in this connection variable. So pretty simple, standard stuff there. But again, we'll be back to get sales report here. We've got an include file for the show sales report, and this is a little bit more of a funky page. It looks like I just kind of threw up all over this, which I sort of kind of did. But it's sort of separated into three sections here. You've got the products, you've got the credit card, and then you've got the user information. So it's having to pull in a lot of information from a lot of different places, which is why it kind of looks a little bit messy. But here we're looking at, this is the section, well, we'll start right here. This while loop loops through all the data that we got from the database as far as the orders data, and it sets a total variable to 0. We're displaying the order ID right there. And then we're entering in on this div. So this is all happening within that while loop. We're grabbing a new order details, which queries, gets the order by ID, which queries the order details database. And then if there aren't any rows, we're going to echo out that column. That was just a test to make sure when I was testing beforehand, before I had the orders section from the last milestone finished, I had some orders in my orders database that were not in my order details database, so it was getting a little bit strange, so I just did that in there mostly for myself. And then right here we're looping through, grabbing in each individual order from that order details, grabbing a product, and I know that this product business find by ID is going to only fetch one product because it's a product ID, and the ID is unique in the database, so it has to be one product, so I don't have to do a while loop. And then we're just displaying the product information, and then we're adding the product price times the product quantity to the total variable, and then we'll print out that total variable right there. Down here we're going through the credit card, we're finding it by its ID. Again, I know that's going to be only one credit card returned from this call to the database because we are doing it by ID, and that's has to be unique. And then just displaying the database credit card data here, and then same thing for user. So it looks a little crazy initially, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much just repetitive of doing those things. There's just a few while loops and things that have to happen, so the spacing looks a little weird just so I could keep it straight in my head, and it was a little bit confusing to do that. But over here, this is the JSON format here, so we're just doing the same thing as get sales report, which is just grabbing that information, and then instead of displaying, including the show sales report, which just displays it in a user-friendly way, get sales report JSON loops through everything just as it would in show sales report, loops through it all, grabs all the information, and then saves it into an array, and then echoes that array as JSON information. So yeah, that's pretty much my project there. That's what I've done for this week. If you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, thank you very much.